All right. Well, today we're going to look at the terms light and darkness. First passage we're going to look at, it's in Isaiah 60. You usually hear this around Epiphany. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. See, darkness covers the earth, and thick darkness is over the peoples. But the Lord rises upon you, and his glory appears over you. Nations will come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your dawn. All right, got one question for you here. Actually, a couple of questions in number one here. What was the darkness that covered the earth, and what was God's solution to the darkness? What's the darkness?
Sin.
Yeah,
Want to pass the sheet
we
down?
got it.
We got 2 here, but
Oh,
his hands are full.
You know, you look back to the time there was, after Adam and Eve fell into sin, darkness came on the earth. And not just sin, there's unbelief, there is the darkness of knowing God's grace. All that stuff was gone. The image of God was lost. What was God's solution?
Send the Savior.
Okay, he was going to send a light into the darkness. You know, you look at light and dark. Any of you ever been in, like, Mammoth Cave? Or something like that? There was some, we were going to go to the big one down in Mammoth, and that one was full, so we ended up going to some other one, and then we were one over by Black Hills, and I remember going down there, and they turned the lights off.
In the dark.
And I remember one of the gentlemen there had a watch that, you know, kind of like when it's exposed to light, it shines. Boy, was that bright. But I mean, you could put your hand right here, and you never saw it. That's a, you know, he talks about thick darkness covers the earth. And you look at that today, it's still there, but a light has shined, hasn't it? All right, well, let's look at a couple of passages here. Isaiah 49 says, this one's also quoted by the apostles in Acts 13, I will also make you a light for the Gentiles, that you may bring my salvation to the ends of the earth. Luke tells us Jesus is a light for revelation to the Gentiles and for glory to your people Israel. And Jesus himself says in John 8, I am the light of the world. In the prologue of his gospel, John says, the true light that gives light to every man was coming into the world. And then Isaiah 9, which is also quoted in Matthew 4, in the future God will honor Galilee of the Gentiles. The people walking in darkness have seen a great light. So, first question there, number 2, who brought God's light into the world?
God himself.
God himself in the person of
Jesus.
Jesus Christ. And you look at how Jesus, well, he himself said, I am the light of the world. One of the great I am statements regarding Jesus. But he's the light that shines in darkness, isn't he? And the Gospels refer to him as a great light. Well, number 3 asks, how did Jesus bring light into the world?
He lived a perfect life and suffered and died for our sins.
Yeah. I mean, he took away sin and the curse of sin. Now, because of everything that he did, we get to enjoy God and all of his blessings. And, you know, we talk about enjoying all of God's blessings. Do we really think about what that means to enjoy God's blessings? Some of you were happy on Friday. That's what you guys get. Okay. Some got a little more, some got nothing. Did you enjoy the snow?
Sure.
Now we talk about enjoying the blessings of God. My dog enjoyed the snow. I wasn't as thrilled as he was. But enjoying them, enjoying God's blessings, we know where the blessing comes from. And whether we like the snow or not, we thank God for the weather that He gives us. That's enjoying God's blessings. There are a lot of people who experience God's blessings, but do they enjoy them as a Christian does? Thankful that our God does show us that love. That's what Jesus did. Now, because of Him, we can enjoy all of these blessings. Well, we're going to jump ahead a little bit to Matthew 27. From the 6th hour until the 9th hour, darkness came over the land. About the 9th hour, Jesus cried out in a loud voice, I'm used to the old one, Eli, Eli, lama sabachthani, which means, my God, why have you forsaken me? Sorry about that. The original is Eli, Eli. The Greek version of it is Eloi, Eloi. I like the original myself, sounds better. Anyway, let's look at number 4 here. On one occasion, Jesus was enveloped in darkness. What message was God giving us? Quite the contrast to what we had in the gospel today, right? What did we see in the gospel today?
God's glory
Right,
and the light.
You think of the glory that came out of the transfiguration. Here we talk about Jesus was enveloped in darkness. On the Mount of Transfiguration, the cloud enveloped them. The glory of God was there. And it's hard to imagine that glory. I got a flashlight at home. It's only about this big. You remember the children's sermon? I didn't work. I love that light because it's got the LED light bulb in it. And you hit that, and boy, is that bright. I made a mistake once. It was dark, and I wasn't quite, because you got to push it once, and this big light comes on. After you push it one other time, and the little light comes on. And I couldn't remember which one I hit last. And so I'm holding it, and I pushed it in a dark place, and guess which one came on? Real bright one. Could not see for a while. That does not even compare to the glory Jesus was letting shine out. The disciples fell down in fear because of it. Well, then you get a few days later, a couple of weeks later, and there's darkness. What was God telling us with giving us that darkness?
It was the darkness of sin. He was
Think of
suffering
the
the sin of the
darkness
world.
of sin. Now there are those who say, well, it was an eclipse of the sun. Well, I don't know of any eclipse that lasts 3 hours. And besides, the moon was not out during the day. How do we know that, by the way? How do we know
Oh,
it was not an
because of the
eclipse?
time of the Passover, that's after a
It's a
certain
full moon time.
full moon.
It was a full
time.
moon.
Yeah.
Got a full moon, not going to come out during the daytime. Because they were celebrating the Passover. And what's interesting, you read through the Gospels, it says the sun stopped shining. What was Jesus going through for 3 hours there?
Suffering
Hundreds
hell.
of hell.
He was feeling the darkness. It's like when I was in that cave and they turned the lights off. It's an eerie feeling. I am not afraid of the dark. Not one bit. But it's weird. You're down there and all of a sudden it's like this darkness just kind of seeps into you. And you think of Jesus' crucifixion. Jesus did not have the blessings of God, did he? He cried out, my God, why have you forsaken me? Being forsaken by God. You know, I've heard people say that their life on earth is hell. The only one who ever experienced hell on earth is Jesus. I don't care how bad your life is, it's not hell. Because if you really knew what hell was like, it wouldn't compare. I mean, when you think of hell, hell has none of God's blessings. Well, we'll be talking about that in a minute here. But you look at, Jesus endured all of that for us. I was reading some devotional book yesterday where it was talking about Jesus being in the garden. How many of you have prayed for 3 hours straight? And you read what the book of Hebrews says, he had groans, crying, 3 hours. And what was his prayer? Not my will, but yours be done, right? The cup of suffering could go. And he was feeling the weight of our sins. And yeah, appropriate darkness, right? All right. Well, now Matthew 25. It says, throw those worthless servants outside into the darkness where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. He's talking about Judgment Day here. A person might define darkness as being separated from the blessings of God. With that definition in mind, describe what Jesus is saying in Matthew 28 there. It's being separated from the blessings of God. You know what weeping and gnashing of teeth are? Obviously, we know what weeping is, right?
Yeah, we know what weeping is.
What's gnashing of teeth?
That's what everybody is throwing at
You
you.
just keep grinding your teeth, and even when your teeth are gone, you're still grinding, huh? It's painful. So we talk about being separated from the blessings of God. You can kind of look at that. What is physical death? It is being separated from God's physical blessing. What is spiritual death?
Separating from
God's
God.
presence.
Separated from God's spiritual blessing. What is eternal death? Being separated eternally from God's blessings. That's hell. And think about it. I mean, it talks about it being darkness. What are some other pictures the Bible gives of hell?
Burning lake.
Burning fires.
Lake of sulfur. Now it's, who was that? I don't know the guy's name. I can't pronounce half those names anyway. It's that brother-in-law of the guy from North Korea that was assassinated last week.
Oh,
yeah.
What was the name of that? Zenin? It's probably the most potent nerve gas that mankind has ever produced. Do you know how much would kill you?
Portion of a drop,
Hmm?
less than a drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take some salt, put it on the table, and take 2 little grams out. 2 little things of salt's enough to kill you real quick. Well, the guy suffered. It's a very painful death, works on your nerves, shuts down everything, paralysis, all this stuff. If nothing compared to hell. And that's why it's described as darkness. How many people are afraid of the dark? I'm not going to make you raise your hand. But I've known a lot of people that are afraid of dark. How many little kids have to have a nightlight? Bob, you just celebrated 74.
So I don't trip on something.
Well, I agree. We have one so we don't trip over stuff too. But, you know, you think of pitch black. People are terrified. Why are you terrified of dark?
They don't
You
know
kind of
this.
mentioned one reason. You don't want to trip on something, right? You can't see. Imagine being in hell. I mean, you were going down Mammoth Cave and they turn off the lights. They only had them off 5 minutes. There were some people shaking after 5 minutes. Can you imagine that for eternity? Our feeble minds can't imagine that. And yet, the great part is that's why Jesus came, right? To take us out of that darkness, to bring us into His light. All right. Let's look at 2 more passages here. Ephesians 5. You were once darkness, but now you are light in the Lord. Live as children of light, for the fruit of the light consists in all goodness, righteousness, and truth. Have nothing to do with the fruitless deeds of darkness, but rather expose them. Everything exposed by the light becomes visible, For it is light that makes everything visible. And then in Matthew 5, you, that is Christians, are the light of the world. So, objects often reflect a brighter source of light nearby. And in what way does this parallel our relationship with Jesus? I think of a good example is the moon. I forget how long ago it was. We had a full moon, clear as a bell out there. And I didn't even have to take my trusty little flashlight with me when I took the dog for a walk at midnight. It was, we were casting shadows, which is fun with our dog. Our dog's name is Shadow. And he loves to chase shadows. How do you tell him, don't chase it? Shadow, don't chase shadow. At any rate, it is so bright. It's really kind of neat when you have the full moon and you're out and it's just like daytime almost. Well, how does that reflect? Well, how is that our relationship with Jesus? He says he is the light of the world. Of course, he also says you're lights of the world. You got some radiance that you're shining out.
Reflected from Jesus.
You don't have a power source in you. You just reflect it, don't you? Isn't that what Ephesians is talking about? You reflect the light of Christ. Just like the moon, where does it get it? I mean, that night, it was so bright. Where did it get its light from? The sun. The moon's dead. Just a chunk of rock up there. It cannot emanate light, but it reflected from the sun. We've got Jesus. You call him our son, in both sense of the word. No pun intended here. But he shines on us, hasn't he? And now we reflect it. And of course, how do we do that? How do you reflect Jesus?
With your life.
Sure. What do you mean with your life?
How we behave to
Okay, how do you behave?
Tell
How do you
others-
speak?
Tell others about the Savior.
We get to pass on the light. I mean, we can reflect it so they can see Jesus. And, you know, you look at all the wonderful things that we have with Jesus, we get to show that out of love and thanks for what he's done for us, we can live a life to him. You were once darkness, you're not anymore. And what did Peter say? The chosen people, royal priesthood, people belonging to God, people who have been called out of darkness into his wonderful light. Why? So we can share it, right? I mean, we saw that in the video before in Idaho, of all places, with Vietnamese people. You have the opportunity to share the gospel with people. And you don't need a theological degree to do it. Talk to your neighbor, run into somebody at Cub Foods or Hy-Vee. Got the opportunity to tell them. I mean, Minnesotans love to talk about weather, right? I mean, we talk about how hot, how cold, how much snow, how much rain, all this stuff. How do you bring Jesus into that? Can you?
Sure.
Easy, isn't it?
Who's the one that provides all
Well,
this?
he's the one who gave us the rain. He's the one who made it 70 and not 95. Some people like. It's bring them in. Or if you see some tragedy or something, well, those who have Jesus have hope. I mean, you all know somebody who their loved one died, relative. You have to talk about Jesus. Many different ways. You can let your light shine. And of course, you know, it involves talking too. You know, we often think, well, let your light shine before men that they may see your good deeds and praise your Father in heaven. You know, picture is worth 1,000 words, but you still need to tell them about Jesus, don't you? Maybe somebody asks you why. I remember when my mom died, Someone said, oh, you must miss her terribly. No. Do I miss my mom? Yeah. Not terribly, though. Because I was able to tell that person, I am gonna see her again. The only reason I can is because of Jesus. And that person didn't know about Jesus. So you get to tell them about it. All right, you got any questions? Did I keep 19 minutes? Was that?
It's close. Raleigh.
I was close, huh?
He's keeping time.
Uh-oh. Well, let's close with the prayer that we have here. Jesus, light of the world, by the light of your word, shine brightly upon us and many others in this dark world, so that we may together reflect the warmth of your love and the brightness of your forgiveness to all those around us. Amen. Have a good day now.